By 40, the wise no longer chase everything. They choose what truly matters. The real test of maturity isn't how much you've achieved. It's how calmly you can let go of what never mattered in the first place. By the time you reach 40, life stops being a race. You've seen enough to know that comparison is a trap, a silent thief of peace. Some people earn more, own more, or travel more, but the Stoic doesn't envy. He asks, did they also find clarity? Because the wealthiest person is not the one with the most possessions, but the one least possessed by desire. Distraction, not failure, ruins most lives. It's not that people lack intelligence, they lack direction. Seneca once warned, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. When you scatter your attention, you dilute your soul. Focus is a form of self-respect. Each time you resist the urge to scroll, complain, or chase noise, you are training your mind to stay sovereign, unshaken. Be careful who you listen to. The world is full of confident voices, and very few wise ones. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Those who truly live well rarely preach loudly. If advice doesn't align with your destination, it's a detour, not a direction. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not fate. Life is your responsibility. Fully, painfully, beautifully yours. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one, he was reminding us that waiting for rescue is a form of surrender. The Stoic builds strength not from control over others, but from mastery over himself. Each decision, to rise, to act, to endure, is a quiet rebellion against helplessness. You don't need endless motivation or a shelf full of self-help books. You need discipline. Real growth happens when you act without waiting to feel ready. Every day you delay action, you trade momentum for excuses. And every small step you take, however ordinary, is a declaration that you've chosen movement over fear. If you never found your path through degrees or diplomas, don't despair. Wisdom is not confined to classrooms. It lives in curiosity. You can learn to sell, lead, build, or create as long as you stop seeking permission to begin. The Stoic understands that learning is eternal. He studies not to impress, but to progress. Don't be afraid to stand alone, because truthfully, nobody cares as much as you think they do. Most people are too absorbed in their own storms. Once you accept this, you become free. Free to speak your truth, free to fail in public, free to live without apology. When you no longer depend on others to validate you, you start hearing the quiet approval of your own conscience. When you meet someone wiser or more capable, don't feel threatened. Feel grateful. The ego sees competition. The mind sees collaboration. Epictetus taught that we should learn from everyone, even those who criticize you. Working with those who elevate you is the fastest way to outgrow your own limits. Wisdom doesn't shrink in the presence of greatness. It expands. Be mindful of what you consume. Not just food, but thoughts, substances, and influences. Smoking, drinking, gossip, excess, they blur the edges of your awareness. They dull the sharpness of thought. The Stoic seeks clarity, not comfort. True pleasure is found in self-command, not in escaping oneself. Comfort, though gentle, is a dangerous companion. It whispers, "You've done enough," but a life without challenge grows heavy and soft. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "The impediment to action advances action." Growth begins where comfort ends. Every hardship you embrace sharpens your resilience, and every comfort you overindulge becomes a silent decay of the soul. Guard your privacy. Not everything sacred must be shared. In a world addicted to exposure, mystery is strength. When you keep parts of your life unspoken, you protect the peace within them. The Stoic does not announce every thought. He lets his actions reveal his philosophy. Avoid the illusion of control that comes from alcohol or intoxication. The momentary escape it offers is a bargain struck at the cost of your dignity. Seneca once said, "Drunkenness is nothing but voluntary madness. To think clearly is the highest privilege of being human. Don't surrender that gift for a few fleeting hours of oblivion." Control over one's mind is control over one's fate. Keep your standards high, even when it's inconvenient. It's easy to settle for what comes quickly, but everything cheap demands payment later. The Stoic refuses to trade integrity for ease. He understands that the cost of mediocrity is far greater than the price of discipline. Hold your boundaries quietly. They speak more powerfully than arguments ever could. As you grow older, you realize the family you build is far more important than the one you were born into. Blood may connect you, but shared values sustain you. Choose people who challenge you to grow, who remind you to stay kind when the world turns cold. A chosen circle built on respect and purpose is worth more than any inheritance. Train yourself not to take things personally. Insults lose power when you understand they reveal more about the speaker than about you. When you stop reacting, you become untouchable. Most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our interpretation of them. Control that, and you control your peace. And finally, return to the root of all wisdom. Focus. Every distraction, every indulgence, every wasted moment is a quiet theft of your potential. The Stoic learns to guard his attention as he would his life, because both are finite. Your destiny depends on where your mind chooses to rest. In the end, reaching 40 isn't about age. It's about awareness. It's the quiet realization that control is an illusion, but discipline is not. That happiness was never in the things you chased, but in the peace you carried all along. And that wisdom isn't something you find at the end of life. It's something you practice every morning when you choose calm over chaos, patience over pride, clarity over noise. The Stoic doesn't seek to escape the world. He learns to walk through it with serenity, unmoved but not unfeeling, detached but deeply alive. So if you remember one thing from this, remember this: you will never control how long you live, but you can always control how wisely you live.